guys, Rud the Nerd here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars Grogu model kit. Now, I don't think Grogu needs any introduction, because everybody and their freaking dog knows who this guy is, alright? So, unless you've been living underneath a rock and you have no idea who Grogu is, just watch The Mandalorian. It's on Disney+. Pretty self-explanatory. But this is a Bandai's newest Star Wars model kit, and you know, it's a model kit. It's pretty standard stuff that, you know, it's a model kit. So it is in the main scale figure is actually in the 1/4 scale, and he does include a 1/12 scale figure as well, which actually scales with the Mandalorian model kit. But for some, I don't know why they didn't just include the 1/12 scale figure with the Mandalorian, but just put him in here with the actual main Grogu. It's a little weird, but it's not like a big not a big deal about it. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. On the side of the box here, you got some screenshots of Grogu in his adorable, beautiful glory. Then you have a picture of the 1/4 scale figure and the 1/12 scale figure as well, which he is inside of his carriage, which is absolutely adorable. You got some more, you know, pictures of the scale here. And he does have some alternate faces. Well, we will get to that as well. Then you got some the front view, the back view, and you have also some more pictures of the actual 1/12 scale figure as well. So if you want to check that out. Then on the side of the box here, or I should say the top of the box, then you have a picture of the Mandalorian with the 1/12 scale Grogu. So if you want to like an actual understanding of how it scales, there you go. There's a picture of it. So it is a model kit, like I said, so, you know, open up the box, there's the sprues, nothing too interesting in there. So before we get into the actual figure and the review and stuff like that, just want to mention that, I haven't taken a look at a Star Wars, model kit in, like, forever. The last time I actually took a look at an actual model kit instead of Star Wars was not that long ago. I mean, it was still, like, 9 months ago, but this is, like, my first Star Wars model kit after, like, what was it, like 2 years ago? I can't even remember now because it was so long ago. But yeah, it's been a while. But also, I just want to say that I did not actually build this kit. My dad actually built it. But he's too lazy to make an actual video for his YouTube channel, so I decided to be like, you know what, whatever, I'll do the video for you. So if you're coming over from my dad's YouTube channel or his model group, hi, how's it going? But yeah, I did not build this figure or paint it. I really want to get into model making. Again, like I said, the last time I actually built an actual proper model kit was like 9 months ago, and I did some paint details and stuff like that. But yeah. But if you are interested in model making, and since I don't do a lot of model making here, but if you are into model making and you want to, you know, if you're more interested than model making than what I do on my channel, then you can go subscribe to my dad's channel, even though that he hasn't uploaded in like God knows how long. So, but there is still some good videos on there that you can watch as well. But if you want like consistently posting and stuff like that, go to his Facebook model making group, Model Makers Union. The links to both of his channel and his model maker group is in the description box below. So, you know, just hop on in, send some pictures in the group or whatever. Everybody's welcomed. No nitpicking, no anything like that. Everybody's welcomed, and show off your cool builds and everything. But enough talking, enough promoting, and stuff like that. Let's actually take a look at the figure here, so we can put that box aside. We don't need it anymore. So here he is. So this is the 1/4 scale figure here. Before we take a look at the 1/12 scale figure, so he is in fact painted. Before he was painted, he actually was, you know, proper Grogu coloring. My dad didn't have like the minty skin color that Grogu actually has. But personally, I really like the kind of dark green look to him. It kind of makes him look more dirty and stuff like that. And I actually quite like how dark the skin color actually is on Grogu. The paint is also really nice as well. My dad does airbrushing and stuff like that, so it's going to be high quality all around here. Now, The paint, I'm going to talk about the paint first. Let's just get that out of the way. The paint on the actual clothing itself looks really nice. It makes it look all dirty and stuff like that. Turn around here, you also got some, more shading in between the actual wrinkles of his cloak here, just to make them look highlighted and stuff like that. And on top of the head, you can actually see some more highlights of that that black there to get the wrinkles on top of his head. Really nice. And you can actually, it's a little hard to see, but he does have some really nice eyes. They're not painted. They're actually like separate pieces. And the actual ears themselves are also really nicely painted. His little fingernails are also really nicely painted as well. His little cute little hands are also painted. Even inside his actual coat itself is also painted as well. On the bottom here, man, this is what he actually, like, that's what the skin color actually looked like before it was painted. So more Grogu traditional colors. But yeah, those look like freaking bird talons. Like, what even is these feet? So I'm actually quite surprised that they actually made him have feet, because I thought he was just gonna be like an absolute brick. But actually he's not an absolute brick, because I was like, how are they gonna do like some articulation? I mean, like the head obviously, but like the hands and the arms. But when I flipped him over, I was like, wait, he actually has feet, and they're actually ball jointed, which is kind of crazy. I mean, even though that the feet don't really do a whole lot, they actually keep them like leveled onto the ground. So if he didn't have these feet on here, he would just be completely flat on the actual ground. But with these actual feet on him, it actually kind of keeps him leveled off the ground. So there actually is some, like, kind of realistic folding and a little space between him and the ground. So that's really cool. But I'm actually quite surprised that they actually added this ball joint at the feet here, because like the articulation of the feet don't actually matter to the actual of him standing up. It's like the cloak does most of the actual, standing up, but the feet just give him a little bit more of a leveled look, so he actually is not completely flat on the ground. But yeah, I'm actually just quite surprised that they actually added ball joints to his feet, so that's just kind of funny. And good thing that we never saw his feet, because Jesus Christ, those are some like evil, wicked bird talons for feet. So yeah, if you want a general basis of what his actually looked like before he was painted, that's what he actually looked like. The reason why he's a little bit darker is because my dad just didn't have, the right paint to actually make him this minty green. But like I said before, I actually quite like the how dark he actually is. It just gives him a little bit more depth, in my opinion. But speaking of articulation, the actual head itself is also on a ball joint as well. So he can look up that far and look down that far. Very limited. It can rotate side to side and everything. His ears kind of get in the way of actually his head actually rotating 360 degrees, but it is possible. I just don't want to scratch any of the paint on here, because this is a really great looking paint job. And this is actually the first Star Wars model kit that my dad's actually painted. So good job on you. So he's probably going to, do some more paint to his other Star Wars model kits. For articulation of the actual arms here, they're also on a rotation as well, and they are also on a hinge joint as well. Very nice, so you can get some in and out movement as well. And the actual inner section of his cloth here is also on a hinge joint as well, so it's actually a separate piece moving in there. And his actual hands themselves are also on ball joints, so you can get some also really cool articulation there as well. So you can make him look like he's doing the Force, or you can just make him like in an idle pose and stuff like that. Coming back here, and the reason why this looks all weird and stuff like that is just for the actual arms to actually move, so he can get some articulation and stuff like that. So pretty basic articulation for the arms, but it is still great that they actually added articulation and stuff, and it also has a shifting motion up and down as well, so that's pretty cool. So I'm actually quite surprised with the articulation on this guy, because like I said, I thought he was just going to be an absolute brick, but he is still a brick, but in a good way. Not completely a brick, but still a brick, yet nonetheless. So pretty basic stuff, articulation, ball joints, and everything. But what is really cool about this guy is that he actually comes with alternate faces. So I can just put this down here. So he has 4 alternate faces here. So you got the default face here, which is pretty basic stuff. I just have it on. I just have the default face, just to give you a basis of what he looks like with the default face on. And each of the alternate faces are painted as well. Very nice as well. And so if you want to display him with all of these faces on, you're probably gonna have to buy like 3 more kits just to display him with all the faces on, and they're around like I want to say like $40 Canadian. So I'm not doing any math right now, so I don't know what that is in US, but it's gonna be cheaper. So around like $20 or $30 American. So yeah, if you really want to buy this kit and you want to display them with all of the faces on, you're probably gonna have to buy like 3 kits as well. So good luck with that if you are going to do that, but I'm not going to judge you if you do. So taking a look at here, we have this face right here. You got a kind of his cheeky little face there, very nice. I will put him on. And I'll show you how to actually remove the faces. Very nice. This face here is for when he's actually doing the Force, so that's pretty cute as well. And then you have the classic Grogu face where he's actually eating the frog. Really nice metallic paint on the frog itself. Really nice paint. And yeah, there's the head of the frog. He already ate the frog, but it's just really cute. So how to actually remove the faces here? So you kind of just want to wiggle the faces, and then the face will just pop off. And oh my god, that literally looks ugh. You'll never look at Grogu the same way again, because that is literally the most haunting thing I've ever seen in my life. That's even scarier than, like, FNAF 1. Like, that's scary as hell. So he literally just looks like an animatronic. But you can also, like, get a close-up of that haunting face. You can still see, like, the actual eyeballs. So they are actually separate pieces in there. So it's not just, like, one, big giant piece. The black and the brown and the inner black of the iris is there. It's all separate pieces, and the actual translucent clear part of the eye is also a separate pieces. So that's pretty cool. So, if you want to just put the face on, you just kind of, you just take the face, plug it in, pretty self-explanatory, and you can get more of those eyes there. So yeah, it is very hard to see on camera, but you need, because he does have some brown eyes, in the actual show, but his irises are just so big, so he just kind of looks like an actual Funko Pop. So yeah, that's how you just attach the faces. But he also comes with alternate ear pieces. So you can actually have him having kind of straight ears or the kind of downward ears. So how you can remove the face, or you can actually just take it off. So what you want to do is that you just want to wiggle the actual ears out of their sockets here, and then you just take the ears there, and then you just want to plug them in like so. Hold on, there you go, like so. And then they're more downward. So you got the straight ears and the more kind of dynamic straight floppy ears there. So you can display him with either of those ears. I personally like these ears more. They're just more dynamic looking, and it does limit the head articulation as well, because they are so close to his actual the little collar of his cloak here. So if you wiggle it long enough, it will scratch the paint. So I'm not going to do that too much. But that's how you actually change the faces and actually change the ears, and basic articulation and stuff like that. But we are going to take a look at the actual 1/12 scale figure here. So here he is, and he is non-painted as well, and the box is blatantly lying to you, because if you remember, the actual box here, coming back here, I'm gonna have to move Grogu out of the way so I can actually show you this. The box is blatantly lying to you. I was assuming that it was going to be, like, kind of pre-painted and stuff like that. You will not, like, scratched up like that, but, like, have, like, the basic coloring and then do your own stuff. But no, it's a completely, it's just completely white, which is not a bad idea, so you can do your own stuff like that. And you can actually take the actual cap here, and you can actually just plug it in there. The head kind of gets in the way, but it's pretty self-explanatory. and we'll get to a major issue with this little guy here. So if you are going to buy this guy and display this guy with your Mandalorian, there is going to be one big problem with this guy that a lot of people are probably going to have. The actual base of the stroller is on a ball joint on this clear stand here. Oh, that just popped off. So yeah, it's a clear base and it's on a ball joint so you can get more articulation, but the actual head itself, complete and utter garbage. I'm sorry. It is a terrible design. It is the loosest fit ever. It just sits there. It doesn't even connect into it. Like, it would be way better if it actually had like an actual proper ball socket like that. But no, it just has like this really tiny square, and it just sits there. It just doesn't actually move. I mean, you could glue it, but I mean, why glue it if it has a ball joint and it's supposed to be like an actual functioning articulation here. So that is just complete utter garbage. But this guy actually does have, I'm taking his head off because it's just gonna flop around and then whatever. The actual base of Grogu here is also on a ball joint as well. He also has some actual arm articulation here, so they can, they're also on ball joints, and his wrists are also on ball joints as well. And this is like what he actually looked like unpainted. So this goes for the same with the actual proper figure here. And I'm still really mad about this, and I don't know why Bandai decided to think this was a good idea, but I do have a little theory. My little Bandai theory, if you will. All right. Looking good. Good job, Dave. Hardly working and hardly working, am I right? That's what I like to see. All right, Steven, can you show me what you're working on? Oh, hey, boss. I'm just working on the 1/12 scale Grogu that we're going to be selling with our 1/4 scale Grogu. And I feel like I really got a good basis of what I feel like I really got a good basis of Grogu here. I've added some really good articulation, and I've also he also looks really good with the Mandalorian as well. They scale perfectly with each other, and I feel like people are really going to be happy with this guy right here. So I feel like we got a really good basis here. Good job, good job. May I see it? Oh yeah, of course, of course. Here you go. Thank you, man. Really great attention to detail here. Wow, man. This looks really great. You really outdone yourself, Steven. You might even get that promotion. And you said this guy's articulated? Yeah. He's articulated. Okay, okay. Oh, he has a ball joint at the base of his scroll. That is so good. That's a great. He's even got a little articulation at the little hands and the little arms. That is so cute, Steven. And he's even got a little ball joint his stand even has a ball joint on it. That's amazing. Man, yet again, you really outdone yourself, Steven. You might even get that promotion yet again, like I said. All right, the head here. All right, that is a really flimsy-looking head, but I don't think it's too much of an issue. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry about that. I'll pick that up for you. No. So, he's articulated all right, but, one minor nitpick. Why did you make the head have a ball joint, but have the actual socket be a square and be extremely shallow? Like, that barely fits in there. Steven. What is this? Now, admittedly, I do admit that the ball socket is a little bit shallow and it is square. I admit that. But maybe we should just tell people that it's not a big deal and they could just glue themselves. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think it's a big deal. People shouldn't be able to glue this if it has an intentional feature of being a proper working figure. Look at this. You made it have a ball joint, right? And you've also made it have a ball socket. But the ball joint is so flimsy that his head immediately comes up, and you're expecting people just to open up the kit and be like, man, this is a really great figure, but his head is a little too flimsy. Man, that sucks. May have to glue it. People are not going to like that. That is going to be a dramatic downfall for us. Man, tell me that the actual main, like the 1/4 scale figure is actually good, Steven. Please tell me it's good. Oh yeah, the 1/4 scale figure is really great. It's basically just a giant brick. And it also has really great articulation as well. Thank the Lord that it's actually decent, because this is unacceptable, Steven. What do I pay you? I pay you in like pennies. All right, this should be like basic knowledge. All right, you love your job here, don't you? So why are you doing this to me, to the company? I've treated you like a son, all right? And this is what you give me? This is what you give me? And you expect me to say that this is a good job? Unacceptable, Steven. Unacceptable, Steven. I am extremely disappointed in you, Steven. What am I going to do? What are we going to do about this? Because we cannot just sell all of these like this, because this is unacceptable. How many copies have you made? How many copies? Technically, I have made about 1,000 of these guys so far. Over 1,000, Steven? And you didn't even bother to check with me until now? What sample is this, Steven? What sample is this? That is the 1,001 copy, sir. Sample what? 1,001? 1,000? This is the 1,000th sample? And you didn't even bother to check in on you didn't even bother to show me the very first sample? Because if I saw this as the very first sample, you would bet your sweet tushy that I would not accept this. No. We cannot just since you've already made over 1,001 samples of this, and you're gonna probably make more, or am I correct? Yes? Maybe no? Depends. We cannot just take these off. We cannot just unsell them. You know what I mean? We cannot just take them out of the box and just leave the box looking like this. And we've already designed this, right? We've already designed him on the box. So we cannot just take him out of the equation here. All right? Because people are begging for us to make a actual Grogu that scales with our Mandalorian, and you brought me this. You brought me this, Steven. Unacceptable. Unacceptable, Steven. I am extremely mad. But like I said before, we cannot just take them out of the equation because we have the box art, and we are not paying our box artists enough for them to actually care and like Photoshop them off the box, all right? Because I guarantee it that they are not going to do that. So we need to think of a proper solution. Do you have anything, any solution at all that could help us with this problem that we are facing right now, Steven? Anything. Give me anything. Throw anything at me. Well, yes. Oh, no. Don't even speak. Don't even speak, Steven. You know what? I think we should sell them. Wait. Sell them? No. Hear me out. Right? We sell them. People start to buy them, right? And they see this. They see this problem right here that we're talking about right now. We could just tell them just to glue it. We don't have to say that this is an intentional feature. We can just say this is an intentional feature. There you go, intentional feature. Done with. But if they don't think this is an intentional feature, and they're complaining and doing videos on YouTube and stuff like that, complaining about how this has an intentional feature, but the feature is so broken, Steven, that maybe they should just glue it, right? Just tell them that they just need to glue it and everything will be fine. But it's still a proper working figure and a proper looking Grogu that scales well with the Mandalorian figure. That is our solution. So I want 5,000 copies by tomorrow morning. So you may want to get that done in a hurry, because right now I believe that it's almost midnight. So you've got a couple of hours to make more of these guys here, and then put them in the box and then ship them off to people. So that's tomorrow morning. Because if you're not, Steven, then you're not getting that promotion. And you're not getting your money. You'll be gone. You'll be out. You'll be fired. Bye-bye. Out the door. See you later. So, yeah, that's what I want. I want more of these in the box, shipped to people by tomorrow morning. So, you may want to buy some more Starbucks where you're at it. So, yeah, get on that. We're going to be rich as hell, boys. Let's go. But yeah, that's just a theory. A Bandai theory. So, that's what I think would probably happen at Bandai when they decide to make this figure. Because this is just complete unacceptable. Like I said before, you could glue it, but, like, why glue it if it already has an actual function that is supposed to be functional? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, and it's pretty stupid, in my opinion. But, I mean, it's not a big deal. You can glue it, I mean, but for those who actually have the Mandalorian figure, and you really want to get this guy, and you can have the little Grogu in his cart display with him, and just want to let you know that the head is complete, utter garbage. I'm sorry. But, yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for Grogu and the little mini one. But I'm actually quite surprised with how well this guy turned out. I'm really happy how Bandai decided to do this. Like I said, I thought he was just going to be an absolute brick with some minor articulation, but he actually has really decent articulation, and I was not expecting for him to have alternate faces and alternate ears, which is kind of crazy. But it's a really great model kit, and it's a really great kind of action figure as well. Because all the action figure, like, the only stuff that we actually have of Grogu that isn't plushes are, like, the Funko Pops, and they're just bobbleheads. But this is an actual, like, kind of proper action figure, and you actually get to build it and paint it yourself. So, you know, you get to put your little blood, sweat, and tears into this guy. So it just makes them a little bit more special to each and every one instead of being pre-built and, you know, pre-painted and stuff like that. So, you know, you put your own little spin on it, so you can add, like, him being all clean, or you can have him like this, being all dirty and withered and stuff like that. Which I personally prefer this, not just because my dad painted it, but because I actually like how this guy actually looks in the lighting and stuff like that. It just looks really nice. But I cannot forgive Bandai. I mean, I cannot forgive Bandai for having this, but they did a really good job of actually having him articulate with, like, his actual ball joint at the, his actual hands and his little arms there. And a ball joint at the base of the stroller where he connects, and the actual clear stand where the stroller connects, and really great detail in there as well. So they did a pretty good job with this, except for this. But other than that, I highly recommend getting this kit. I highly recommend getting this kit because it's a really great kit. And even though that I do have a problem with this guy here, but actually having him as the main figure with these alternate faces and everything is just perfect. I don't think they could have done it any other way, and it just looks amazing. So that's about it for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't care what you do, but you guys know what time it is. So, bye, guys.